Hello folks, welcome to Spencer's Bookshelf. I am Spencer and welcome to my 9th episode on my YouTube channel. I'm so glad you could join me today. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do that. You can hit the subscribe right at the bottom. I want to grow this channel. I want to get you reading. I want to really help people expand their minds, help people want to read more, because that's how we have a better society. That's how we get people expanding their consciousness, having new perceptions, new perspectives on their own lives, and that's what's going to make you a better person. So hit likes, hit subscribe, watch my videos, and potentially read some of the books that I've reviewed. Some of them are good, some of them are written by David Cameron. So yes, today I'm excited. This is going to be my most personal video I've done in a while. I'm going to be reviewing the book Subtle Art of Not Giving, I'm going to say damn, because I don't want to use a swear word, even though I think damn is a swear word too, but Subtle Art of Not Giving a Damn by Mark Manson. I actually, this is a book from 2016. I read it in 2017, and then I just read it over the last few weeks. I know I haven't put a video out in a little while, but you know what? It's summertime and it gets a little busy. You go camping, rock climbing, do fun things. And this was such a good, actually, summer read. And it kind of, it was one of those books that really sort of, it kind of spoke to me. And especially being the second time I've read it, and I think that's another important aspect. You shouldn't read books just once, especially if it's an important book and one that you feel you can get a lot of guidance and thought processes from. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Damn is a book that helps me out mentally, I think, and I think it helps a lot of people out. And reading it, it actually made me feel good, because there was certain aspects of my life that I do feel I've already incorporated from the first time I read this book. So, what I'm going to do on the video today is I'm going to review this. I'm going to make this very personal. Go through some of the elements that he talks about in the book. Not all of them, actually just a few of them, because I don't want to go on too long. And then I'm going to talk about the writing style, things like that, and give my star rating at the end. I recommend watching this one to the end, because this book is a good book. Firstly, so I'm gonna get a little personal here. So why is it that I've worked for 3 out of the 5 banks in Canada in the first 10 years of my career, even though I know I could, in any of the banks, do well and move up? Why was it? And part of it was because I wanted to get into that role I wanted to do. Subtle Art of Not Giving a Damn. Why is it that 3 years ago I started rock climbing and I sucked? I weighed a lot more than I do now, probably 20, 30 pounds. My buddy Ruel told me, oh, you should come. Try it out. Because I was always jogging and going to the gym and kind of getting bored of it. So I went. And I couldn't climb a route. I couldn't even climb what's called a V basic, which is basic. It's silly. If you can't climb a V basic, what can you do? Why are you even trying? But what did I do? I kept going 3 days a week for a long time, until I bumped up to even more times a week, especially when I was climbing with my buddy Sam. He's a crazy athlete that pushes me, and he's a good guy, but I digress. I kept going. I kept going. Why? Subtle Art of Not Giving a Damn. Why is it that, when I've ever taken advice from people on life, on dating, on anything like that, I generally don't take it. I take what's in my heart. I do what I think's in my heart. I tend to go against the grain on a lot of things, because it's what I think is right, even if it may not be the best decision. Subtle Art of Not Giving a Damn. And why is it that this kid, this 33-year-old dude from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, is starting a YouTube channel on reading when I have a really good job, have a lot of other things I do, I could sort of push myself in the background, but I was like, no, I'm going to push myself in the foreground and create a channel. Subtle Art of Not Giving a Damn. And that's what I love about this book. It's a book that talks about embracing the uncomfortable and building yourself up to be something better and greater than yourself. Think about it this way. When in 2003, when Barack Obama was a state senator, not a senator, but a state senator in Illinois, do you think him and himself thought that 5 years down the road, he would go from a lonely little state senator in the south side of Chicago to president of the United States? You know how he had the art of not giving a damn? That's the only way you can go into greatness, is just is to take the skills that this book talks about and going for it, and not allowing adversity and things like that to come in your way. So, I digress. I'm going to start talking about some of the elements of this book and why it is, why I actually think this book is one of the best books ever written, especially in the last 5 years. So firstly, as I mentioned before, one of the main topics this book talks about is embracing being uncomfortable. And the notion that that some suffering in life will always be inevitable. If you want that job, or you want to go to med school and you want to be a doctor and save lives, you need to suffer. You are going to suffer. You're going to be spending all night learning biochemistry and other stuff that I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but like, you're gonna have to put your hard work. You're gonna have to say no to a social life, say no to a girlfriend or boyfriend, say no to rock climbing, say no to a lot of things, and do it. And if you can't embrace that uncomfortableness, you're never going to meet those goals. You're never going to be great. And pursuing that, so this comes to another point that I think is essential that he talks about. Pursuing the negative creates and generates the positive. So what does that mean? That means, for instance, for me, the pain of climbing. Climbing is painful. Sometimes I'm frustrated. Sometimes I get angry climbing, especially if I had a stressful day and I start climbing and I suck at climbing and I can't get a route, especially when I've been working on it for months and months and months. If you let that negativity and that pain push you down, you can never be great again. You can never be great. You can never succeed. And it's literally that pain going on that day where you don't want to go climbing, or running a half marathon on a day that you just feel like junk, but just doing it. That's what allows you to move ahead. And that's why I think that concept in this book is amazing. And Mark Manson has this question, that rhetorical question for yourself and for everyone who reads the book, which is important, is what purpose am I suffering for? And that's where the subtle art of not giving a damn becomes important. What is it that I'm suffering for? Why am I putting myself out there? Why am I going on a date? Or why am I going to take this wealth management course that I failed a couple times, but I'm still going to go at it and try to succeed? It's because that's what makes us better as human beings. That's what makes us grow. That's what pursuing something that will be negative, will be hard, will be painful, is what makes us a better and makes us succeed. So, and that comes to another point. So a lot of people are like, well, I mean, if we're always going after the negative, we're always doing things that are painful and that make us hurt, well, then I'm not going to be happy. Well, and that's where Manson says, happiness is not the end goal, but the emotion that is part of life's compass. Because that's the thing. It's happiness, and this actually comes back to one of the other books I read earlier. I think it was something simplicity. I think the second video. This is obviously off the cuff. Most of what I say is off the cuff, so I couldn't remember it. But Soulful Simplicity. Yes, we can. So that book, they talked about how happiness is just, I think it was that book, is a process. It's you doing something in the process of you getting better. Like happiness is me going from a V basic climber to like a V2, V3 climber, which is not. All my friends are like V like 5, 6 climbers, which is fine. But you know what? I made that huge jump over 3 years. I mean, it wasn't a huge jump. It was actually a slow growth. But you know what? I wasn't able to climb a V basic for a very long time. So that process, yeah, no, I'm not a V6 climber. One day I want to be. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'd love to be. But the fact that I'm improving in that process, that's where the happiness comes in. That's where you get happy about things. And that's where life is about, according to Mark Manson, is about that process. And he also talks about problems. Like he talks about how problems never stop. So like, say you get that dream job, or you are in a new position in your life, you get married, you do something crazy, and you're like, okay, I've made it, I've been happy, I'm gonna be happy from now on. No. All it does, problems never stop. They are just merely exchanged or upgraded. And that's a huge aspect of what he talks about. And don't want to make the video too long, so I'm just going to talk about a couple other quick things he talks about. Taking responsibility. And doing that against taking... So the difference between that and taking fault. And he says the biggest thing in life that will make you a better person is taking responsibility. And not taking fault. And what's the difference between them? Taking responsibility is present tense. That's saying, I, in this situation right now, or I am feeling this way right now, I'm taking responsibility. I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna make it better. Where taking fault is, oh, I did that in the past. I screwed over that person. I did something, blah blah blah. Oh well, I did something wrong. I feel bad. That's not taking responsibility. And for you to have a better life, for you to grow as a human being, you have to be in the present, which means you have to take responsibility. And that's an essential part of what Mark Manson talks about. I mean, the last thing, which I think is very, very important, that he says is, we will all die someday. So, what are we waiting for? Why are we giving... We only have a certain amount of time to give damns about things. And we have to kind of pick and choose what damns we care about. What is important to us? Is job important to us? Is climbing, traveling, relationship, health, being a leader to people, volunteering, things like that. We can't do it all. But if we pick and choose, if we find that thing that drives us inside and makes us a better version of ourselves, that's when happiness will truly happen. And that's the subtle art of not giving a damn. So, I digress. What did I think of this book? 4.5 out of 5, without a shadow of a doubt. Why? Amazing writing style. He swears all throughout the book, which I freaking love. It's one of those timeless books that you can read 3 or 4 times. And I'm going to be reading that more and more times in my life. Like, in good times and in bad. If I become Prime Minister of Canada, I'm reading that book. If I lose my job, I'm reading that book. If I get married, I'm reading that book. You know why? Because it affects you on all aspects of your life. And that's That's important. Also, also, I think it's just an awesome book. Like, um, he's able to really drive home a lot of almost, I would say, basic sort of thought processes, um, basic points, but in a very concise and fun way as well. So it's a book you don't even feel like you're reading. I didn't feel like I was thinking crazy hard when I was reading it. I read a lot of very technical books. I read some Noam Chomsky. I read um, a lot of economic books. I read a lot of stuff relating to geopolitics, things like that. But so for me, reading a book like that, where I can finish in like not much time. I mean, I've read it over a long period of time, but that's because, well, not over a couple weeks, but that's just 'cause it's summer. It was incredible. It was an amazing book, and so on that note, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'll let you guys know I'm going to be reading. Just started actually my roommate, Tiago, has lent me the book. Kobe Bryant's, I actually forget the title of it, but it's an excellent read. So my 10th video will be a nice little tribute to Kobe Bryant and his book. Probably should have written down what it's called, but I didn't like being a little off the cuff, so don't remember. But anyways, I want to thank you so much for joining me today on Spencer's Bookshelf. I love this channel. This is my 9th episode. You guys are amazing. I want to grow this. It's our time to make the world a better place. It's crazy time right now for multiple things, multiple reasons. But you know what? I personally believe in the best in humanity. I believe that everyone is good. Circumstance creates havoc, but if you read and you figure out how to make your life better, how to expand your mind, how to figure out someone else's point of view, you're going to be a better human. We're all going to be a better human. It's going to be, humanity will grow and the world will be a better place. I want to thank you guys. Thank you. Subscribe, like, have a great day.